Love is live. Love is live. Did we do that right? Come on in. All is welcome. Get it on the what is shared on the screen. Let's get it right. All right. Peace and love. Peace and love. Love is live. And give praise and honor to the one. We open our divine meeting in the name of the divine creator, Al-Sufian. As you see, we got us a good message today. We got to have some understanding, come to get understanding. And again, all of what K.O.S. do is all of humanity. Now, especially to Israelites, especially to American Indians. We must all know that we are one. And we must know where these names derive from so we can have an understanding of each other. There's no separation in unity. That's why we have K.O.S. community. If you know yourself, then you can be yourself. The names do matter. Is the character behind those names. The character behind those names is what gives it life. So we have to understand those more Hebrew Israelites and American Indians, these are all one people, just different names in different times, different time periods, different names. So those names are chronological timelines that we must understand to bring to one collective mind. And then we're going to be able to move on the land as one thought. But in order for us to take what's ours, we got to know what's ours. That's correct. So we got to know the oneness that land. And specifically the American land. Things on American soil by people who don't look like us. And we've been told a lot of things from people who look like us. So what we're going to do is go to some things that both never said to us. So we're going to come into our divine constitution. And in our divine constitution of the Al-Sufian, we have Sufa 137. And we're going to read Sufa 137 and number 10 and 11. Great Elder, would you give us the honor?
Sufa 137, the permitted al-halal. Verse 10. Thirst. Allah gives to his people a way to end suffering.
Mm. Mm. That's a strong statement, isn't it?
Oh, that's just so beautiful.
For me, that's a strong statement.
That's just so beautiful because when you look around today and you see nothing but suffering, you know what that tells me? That the divine creator has nothing to do with that. And just after reading this verse, because when you think about it, someone who brings you into existence, someone who you gotta learn everything from, why would he have you suffering when he's in control of this? But if not, then someone else is causing all the suffering. And the sad part about it, when you see suffering and some ain't, some please and some ain't, there's the old saying, Houston, we have a problem.
We have a problem. If these conditions are upon the people, then we have a problem.
We have, and from what I see, there is a solution, but for some reason, whoever in charge wants to continue the suffering. And it says Allah give to his people a way to end suffering. It's December 15th, 2024, and all we see is suffering. Can anybody identify or even to solve the problem, fix the problem? Allah done gave us a way. We must be done turned away from the way that he's given us. Verse 11. By recognizing all who live in community must abide by some rule of law. Anybody recognize who lives in a community or wherever you may live? Have you recognized anything? Now maybe you don't never look up, you just going with your head down. You know, now you got your head down, you just can't raise your head up. You just ain't, your will is so evil that you just can't raise your head up. I get it, Club.
No honors for that. Respect for that wisdom delivered. Because in these times, this is what we need. As we were saying, all humanity is suffering.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't got billions and trillions of dollars, you suffering.
Mm-hmm.
The whole world is based on a capitalist society.
That's right.
So we're talking about our creator. Our creator didn't make the money that the capitalists using to make everyone suffer. And these capitalists are made today for their society, for the capitalists to win.
Mm-hmm.
Now the capitalists will win by all means necessary. Oh, he took a script out of Malcolm Shabazz.
Sure did.
Oh, understand. He knows to ignore. What we need to understand, the name God
Yeah. Yeah.
is not the way that will end the suffering of our people. All of the people have to become under a oneness, and this oneness has to be under one name. Because this one name was given to his people. So Moorish Americans, Hebrew Israelites, American Indians, the people in the land of America, these people are Allah. These are the Creator made all people. We need to get this clear with understanding. How can you have separation in unity? They changed the script and made God into a man.
Yep.
I'm gonna say that again so it don't slip. They changed the script and made God a man. See, what we know and understand is that Allah made man. Allah created man. So his people know who created them. Wouldn't that make sense? So if your creator is the name, whatever your creator name is, this should be the way for you to end suffering.
That's right.
But if we don't understand why the creator has made not just one of us, but many of us, so we can all recognize each other, so we can all recognize and begin to live in a community. This is what's missing in our time period. A community. What do we think the universe is? The universe is a community. Everything living and coexisting together as one from the one. And the goal of the capitalists was to separate this separating community. So now for community, he replaced in his capitalist society groups.
That's right.
And these groups act a form of community, but these groups are based upon ideologies that are false. And so taking on ideologies from others cause people. There's many conditions of suffering. Oneself couldn't tell all of experiencing day to day moment. So that's why these times to come online is to free humanity by giving the humanity understanding of themselves.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
familiar, we need to bring back to remnants. We need a reminder.
Yes.
Hosea 4 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
My people are destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
This is talking about Allah's people.
That's right.
Allah's people are destroyed
Mm-hmm.
for lack of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have rejected knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I will also reject thee.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Remember, if you didn't know, you have a conscience.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a conscience, then you have responsibility. So as we see on number 39, if you choose to be ignorant, this is in reference to because you have rejected knowledge. So if we choose to be ignorant and follow false teachings like a donkey. Now we're going to slow it down right here. What is another word for donkey?
Jackass.
Thank you. For old times, we used to call it, our elders used to call it an ass. And we have received teachings that mentions a donkey. Have we not? Someone was riding on a donkey.
I was just thinking about that. A talking donkey. This ain't no ordinary donkey.
Right, it works.
The scripture said a talking donkey. Now, either we got some false teaching going on here in writing, or that's a talking donkey.
Here we go. This is what the Creator says that created all things. If you choose to be ignorant and follow false teachings like a donkey, like a donkey, maybe we need to bring what Noble Drew Ali said. To keep this in reminder, everything connects.
That's right.
All truth connects.
That's right.
Oh yes. Oh yes, it's worth it.
Yes.
It's why we come to learn.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. Ain't no more playing around. You know, learned all about this falsehood and all the lies real well. So it's time for some true teaching.
It's time for some true teaching. Soul of it. Yes, indeed.
That's why you're looking for that. So if we recognize that something is wrong because our community is not rising up, and everybody else's community and every other ethnic group of people rising up, and your community is getting worse and worse and worse. And then they have audacity to get on TV and just take a stroll across the United States, and they talk about all the poverty they find in the places where the melanated peoples are, or where they call the minorities at. That it's just so bad and so pitiful. How could This is my question to the rich. What kind of devil are you to stand by and see another human being and you rich and he need help and you won't help him? I ask the question.
Ask right here. These are good things to ask right here.
We talk conscience.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a conscience if you allow this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If the rich allow this to happen, they can't have a conscience. This is what I'm saying.
They have the opposite of conscience. This is why it's saying about as a donkey. Well, nevertheless, the false teachings of a donkey, if the donkey can talk, and one never seen a talking donkey in their whole living existence, only in a book, if one choose to ignore life and accept a book,
right on.
Reject life, and accept a book, then the Creator says, if you choose, I didn't choose, if you choose to be ignorant and follow false teachers like a donkey, then Allah will grant your wish.
Yes, indeed.
Grant your wish.
Yeah.
Look, your wish is easy as choosing.
Yeah, you want to be a fool? Foolish fool?
Choose to accept or reject. You have rejected Allah's knowledge. Allah's knowledge is for those who reject ignorance and evil.
Right on.
Number 6.
Right on. Right on.
Our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Right on.
It's only one Creator that gives the knowledge of self. This is the knowledge of His people. Are destroyed for a lack of K.O.S. This is what brings about this definition suffering. They define suffering as a pain, enduring of pain. As a condition, and people like you, have y'all been experiencing pain?
No.
I mean, mentally, emotionally, physically.
Yes. All the above.
So the word pain goes back to, as you see on the screen, to the agony suffered by Christ. For the agony suffered by Christ. So the people who suffer in the name of Christ, here is your way to end suffering. Allah gives to His people a way to end suffering.
Beautiful.
This was the teachers that was your blessings. And this is what the capitalists have been capitalizing off of, making new narratives, spin-offs, remixing, selling the lies, and having you confused, because none of His knowledge leads you to knowledge of self. So who did they put on the donkey in the book? Who did they put on the donkey to have ride into Jerusalem?
Oh, look at him.
So these was teachings not taught by the forgeries.
Yes.
By the Jewish who have a hatred
Yes, yes.
of Allah. What they want us to do is to hate as they hate.
Yeah.
They want to receive hate as. This is why the narratives was created, for you to begin to hate yourself and say God made, and say God is a man instead of Allah made man. And that if you're a man, you came from Allah. Allah created you and made you. Those in the quiet, they listen, they know.
Oh, yes.
This is very important because a lot of us have been stuck in the teachings of Christ.
That's right.
Because they have made Christ into man and made man God. And you love God. So you're not going to disrespect God unknowingly. You trying to worship God the best of you with the knowledge known. But the knowledge known is insufficient. It's called insufficiency of knowledge. Just like you go to your bank and you ain't got nothing there, you try to pull something out that you ain't got there. Insufficient funds. Access your divinity, the capitalists took away your access. New scriptures for you to follow their script.
Yep. Just like the movie.
In replace of your own script. So we got to understand this is through a falsehood. We got to go to one of the main falsehoods, what created it all. We're just going to drop the truth and be out.
Yeah. And I would just like to say to all that's listening that if we had the right way and was going right, we wouldn't have the mess we have now and all this suffering what's going on. And we have all these books. We got a Bible, Holy Quran, a Republican Party, a Democratic Party, a USA, and the churches, millions. And how many mosques? Millions. And look what mess we have today. I get the problem. It can't be the way. That's what I'm trying to say. We have the right way now. K.O.S. I get the problem.
And it's a blessing. It's a sacred gift for all humanity. But humanity have to come and learn.
That's right.
Number 5. Women must learn what is good and bad for their soul. You got to know for your own soul what and what is bad. If you think suffering is good for your soul, keep false teachings. If you think suffering is bad for your soul, come learn K.O.S.
Right on.
The resolve, the resolution is K.O.S. K.O.S. is the knowledge of Allah. Only Allah can give you knowledge of self. Men and women have failed because they know you. You are your own. You came from the all. This is where you get the word the all from. It's from all. The all spirit, the all. Then learn what is good and bad. Not for him, not for them, for you. These was the ancient teachings on the land before the invader came with his capitalism called colonialism.
Yeah.
Hurry up and buy. His capitalism. So we have to understand now how all this works. It's not about them, they, those. It's about you, yours, and your own. You have your own individual self. You have a family. All these is your own. They need you more than corporations need you. They got to live through principles and standards. And if certain actions is not dictated to them, they would never know. So the younger you are, we got to know the dumber you are. This is the purpose of growing. If you started off wise, it wouldn't be no room for growth. Don't nobody come out the womb wise. But if you follow false teachings, they'll tell you babies was talking out the cradle. Samuel was saying words before he was and before he was announced as a prophet. We got to back these stories up. These are false teachings. You know you haven't seen this. Full words, full-blown conversation in the cradle. So we have to understand the difference between bad and good.
Thank you.
Those are bad teachings. And those teachings going to lead you into bad situations called pain and suffering. We don't know how all this works together, but hopefully by the end we will. Because we just want to drop the truth and be out. We ain't here. We here to say, we told you. You can't say you didn't know. We told you. That's how we know you know.
That's simple. That's simple.
Now, if you reject it or accept it, as the creator say, that's on you.
Since we're on the subject of good and bad, since we're on the bad for their soul, there's a big holiday coming up called Santa Claus, Christmas.
So new.
Would that be bad or would that be good? Because see, there's a lot of practice going on in today's society. In our everyday life, we see certain action from certain people. I'm asking the question, is that bad or good? I yield the floor.
Well, we asked the question, is it make-believe? Anything made up is bad. Anything that's make-believe is bad. You not make-believe, so why would you make something up that do not exist? This is why we have to know and understand, because these are things that capitalists put in your vision to distract you from the knowledge of self. See, he knows if you keep rejecting knowledge by accepting all his trinkets, all his city lights, you will never get to the knowing of who you are. You will never get to know what's good and bad for your own self. You'll keep saying they said that. He made me do that. She made me do that. They ain't did nothing. All they did was gave you the bad teachings. And you carried it out. So this is why in Christianity, the word begins with Christ. Because these are the teachings that they have altered for the badness, for their own wickedness and their own evil. You may not think evil is that, but evil is wicked. Evil is unrighteous. This is what we call people with two selves. See, the capitalists, they got two selves. The invaders, the colonists, the Jewish, they got two selves. They front in your face. And we know Jake is a snake. The Jewish is Jake, a jive turkey. They always trying to trick you out of your own by stealing your name and then giving you their name. So when you have black, that's their name. Negro, that's their name. African, that's their name. That has nothing to do with Allah. This has to do with suffering me, you, and all of us that's like me and you. So when we're talking about Allah, we're not talking about the Bible, because of course, Allah is not in the Bible. Literally spelled out. So we know and understand that to not be the book of Allah. That's a book other than Allah. So this is why we have to understand. The Jewish did it. These are the capitalists. These are the lobbyists. These are your Congress. These are your Republican. These are your Democrats. These are your people playing government.
That's them boys.
They create cities from their bad teachings. And they need a believer of their teachings. so their city can have citizens. This is why it all comes down. That's why we have to understand knowledge of self. And we're just getting started. Because there's some things we got to bring in, like this is why Christianity begins with Christ. Because Christ, in their altered text, is for the redemption of all humanity.
Right on.
And so, for to redeem all humanity, you must know you can't come at the end of the movie.
Right.
Or you ain't gonna know what happened at the beginning. So at the end, you know Christ comes to redeem all sins of humanity. But in the beginning, this is where we need to know the beginning of the movie. The reason for a Christ at the end is because of what happened at the beginning. There was a claim, capitalist, by the Jewish, that there is a claim from their Jewish teachings, aka Christianity, a claim of original sin. And this is Googleable. We have it on the screen for your digestion. We're going to read.
Yeah.
Original sin is a Christian doctrine.
What you say?
Not a religious. This is only a Christian doctrine. Do you believe you were born in sin? That is a Christian doctrine, meaning that's a religious concept. So these people have took wisdom and made a system of beliefs, worships, for you to worship falsehood called sin. So this is how Adam and Eve begins at the beginning. There's a sin that takes place at the book of Genesis. And this is where the original sin is born. So if you subscribe to Christianity, you subscribe to original sin. Through original sin, this is how the Khazars, the Caesars, the Jewish, the July 4th, Independence Day, this is how they got you worshiping in the name of Jesus Christ. That means that you are sin, wicked, disobedient, unrighteous, unfair, abomination to balance. No weights, no measures. Now, original sin is a Christian doctrine. Back to the number one, it is the condition, and we're going to clear this up at the end. It is the condition or state of sin into which each, look how it's written now, each human being is born.
Yep, that's what it said.
So in Christianity, they claiming that every human being is born in a condition called sin.
Yep. Preaching this and everything today.
This is the main difference of Allah and Christ. Christ is the stolen teachings that the Jewish altered. Is there original sin in Islam? Let's read. There is no concept of original sin in Islam. So two, this is the difference between not a true Christian, but a Jewish Christian.
Yeah.
Jewish belongs to Christianity. Christianity is Jewish. This Jewish is a doctrine. They have a whole doctrine. That's what it's called, because you can find their name mentioned in their doctrines, describing them, not you. They didn't write nothing down ever for you. Everything they wrote down and had you learn was not for you. Remember, you was unaware of their language. You couldn't read or write it. This is what it means by indigenous. You had your own. You wasn't integrated into another value system called language and script.
Yeah.
So this is how they took over the people. So now when you got a social security number, that means that you are Christian property or Jewish property. So in understanding this took place for real, this is why I'm bringing in a social security number. If you got a social security number, that is called Jewish crime. But if you don't, but in Christianity, guess what? It's not a crime. The Pope always not guilty under Christianity.
That's right.
So anything happened in Christianity is not on his hands. He's abluted from it. He has ablution from sin. That's for the subjects. So when we talking about this is the same understanding today. Can the president pardon someone out of jail? That's called acting as a pope or emissary. That's the rules of Christianity. The rules of Christianity is pain suffering. Pain is a crime. So we got to understand this originates out of Christianity after the Nicaea Council of 25. So when you have the Trinity, this is what the Trinity is for. It's because of you've been born in sin. But if you're not a Christian, then you should not have a social security number. If you do, that's your criminal evidence of criminality, crimination. That is identity theft. You have a name and a number that is not from the divine creator.
Look good there.
That is from man.
Come on with it.
And remember, Christ was made a God. So now when you say you a Christian or under Christianity, that is owned by the Roman Catholic Church.
That's right.
They own everything you do under the name of Christianity.
Right on.
And it's called a social security number. That's why you have a birth certificate with them and a death certificate with them. But you won't see the death certificate. You will only see the birth certificate. So that was the mark of the beast, known as 666. Because 666 is the year they changed and altered the scriptures of the Sufian to what you have today as the Quran and the Bible. That's why these two back each other like tag team wrestling.
Yep.
The Quran is an account of the Bible, and the Bible is an account of the Quran. Both of these books are false teachings, deliberately printed and pressed by those who have a hatred of Allah for you to now worship, what did it say? Other gods before him.
That's right. That's right.
So let's continue in Christianity. So if you are experiencing pain and suffering, it's because you have the belief you are a Christian. And then you act it out every day. So we want to understand number 2, original sin arose from Adam and Eve in transgression in Eden. Remember, all these are false teachings now, but this is how Genesis come about. Remember, they're changing your genetics. This is why it's called Genesis. They're changing your genetics by giving you a belief system. Now they're going to tell you, forget your genealogy and pick up this belief system. Forget your family. Christ is your Savior. See, Christ never taught what, and he never called himself Christ. Of Christ. Just like you would never call him, see, he calling this form of teaching Christianity. You will find the people after him called. So you will never find record of Christianity ever being the true religion. It came out of the root of something. Christianity is a branch on the root of wisdom. So as we keep going, let's go on number 2. The sin of disobedience in eating the forbidden fruit of the tree of good and evil. This is what they want to trick you at.
In the book of Genesis,
With their altered teachings, they want to tell you the tree of knowledge. It's not the tree of knowledge. It's the tree of good and evil. Knowing you shall be wise. So knowledge, but good and evil are already actions. So now, without ever learning, we started creating actions. This is what it's called. This is why we now have bad habits.
bad habits.
This is why we have bad habits. It come from somewhere.
That's right.
It come from somewhere.
Wrong information. That's what brings that.
See, the prayer we was taught was not the prayer that was taught by the Creator. Prayer was for the frequency of binding of good habit, which leading to good character. So we're talking about knowledge in our actions. So we working our way. When we have knowledge in our action, this is called logic. When we have action without understanding, this is called emotions. So what I want us to understand is that sin is an emotion. So they want you to be in a certain emotional state. This is what they're saying. Now, number 3, everyone, not just Christians, this is how filthy it is. Should say Christians is born sinful. Not each human being. Christianity is saying each human being, when it should say Christians, number 3, is born sinful. with a built-in urge to do bad things and disobey Allah. Now, do you see their nature clear as day? Why they keep disrespecting you? Because to disrespect you is to disrespect who made you.
Yeah, that's right. And that explains why they don't like you and anybody look like you, and you ain't done nothing to them. Just your purely hate.
This is why they got a story in Genesis about the image. See, it's all to get you to believe their teachings and believe that this is the word of God. Number 4, they say sin is a built-in law of failure that makes it impossible for a person to or serve God in their words. You see what it's saying? Do you see how deep belief is? By the time you born, it's built into you because they done told your family.
Yeah.
Your family believe it.
Yeah.
They themselves think they that.
Yeah.
They gonna share that with you. Since you a child, you got no defense mechanism. So now it becomes a built-in law of failure. This is called poverty. Poverty or failure is an emotional state. All this, what they talking about, is the lower self. The lower self is all your emotions that you think are you, but they're not you. That's your lower half. And they want to make your lower half the greater half. So they saying now you born into this. Instead of that you made from the creator, meaning that you are the higher self. Or you are the spirit walking in flesh and blood. It says impossible, y'all. This is what our elders are asleep. This is why they can't wake up. The young people won't wake up. They taught by the elders. This is remember, this is how they put Adam to sleep. I don't know if we understood that yet. Adam wake up, y'all, or did Christ have to come?
Adam was asleep.
Did Adam ever wake up? See, so this is what we talking about. Let's hit a real get down of the son of Adam. Let's get a little real get down. Gray Elder, would you read 8 and 9 for us?
8 and 9? I sure will.
Or if you want to read it from
okay, from you keep it right there. 8 reads, verily, only unto the holy, did the most sacred message come.
Sacred message.
Sacred message, not no any kind of message.
And we talking about the most holy.
Yeah.
2 L's.
The most holy. Third, did the burden unto this obligation fall upon a son of Adam and a son of man.
Ooh, do we remember hearing that phraseology before?
Yeah,
son of Adam and son of man.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go on down to the next number, 10, and let's find out where all this came from.
A humble servant of Allah descended from the holy and the ancient chief priests and keepers of the sacred Al-Baka of Abraham and the divine.
So where did Adam come from? Y'all didn't get this one in the Bible, huh? They altered the teachings.
Mm-hmm.
Adam come from Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
Adam is a son of Abraham.
Mm.
It's all about Abraham and understanding Abraham. This is why when they alter teachings, they write a cocky statement to say that Jesus said that he was before Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
Before Abraham was, I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's them saying they was born before we was born.
Mm-hmm.
They saying they the original man.
Mm-hmm.
And we the grafted man.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand, all humanity don't feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
Only the people who are capitalists. Because they need your body, mind,
Mm-hmm.
and spirit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sacred. Allah Bakar is what you don't know about. That is the true teachings of what the altar teachings of misnomerly called Kabbalah. Let me show y'all something right quick. This is just for learning purposes. This is what the Jewish don't want to teach you. This is what Christianity is birthed out of. Kabbalah. Kabbalah, remember, this is the fake teachings right here. Kabbalah is an ancient Jewish. Remember, Jewish is synonymous with lie, the character and nature lie. Anything falsehood is Jewish. Anything based on a lie is Jewish.
Man.
The word Jewish means lie. That's why it's Jew lie.
They do.
They lie on the fourth.
They sure do.
If you understand what I just said.
Yeah, they're lying in it.
They lie on the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
About the fourth dimension. This is why the Fibonacci number sequence don't have the number 4. This is why they hate the number 13. 1 plus 3 equals 4. 13th letter of the English alphabet is M. They hate the original, the master of the universe, the bloodline of Abraham, which is the Morabah. Do you see the M? Morabah, the Rabbah. Rabbah, what they call Jesus? Rabbah. Rabbah. Rabbi.
Yeah.
Rabbi means Morabah.
Yeah.
Morabah is the bloodline of Abraham. Abraham is the father of all the East, Europe, America, but nothing on the West, y'all. This is what they call Jewish. Now I'm gonna finish reading. This is the biggest lie that they created. This is how they This is how they write. This is how they wrote the text of today. It's a system. We're not going to go into this because this is the lie. I need you to know this is why it's called Kabbalah. It's the lie. The lie. So Kabbalah is an ancient Jewish tradition that teaches the deepest insights into the essence of God, his interaction with the world, and the purpose of creation. So this is where they say Kabbalah is often referred to as the soul of the Torah. So in language, this is what we talk about that was in Europe. The Torah was of Europe. That was the father of Abraham. And the father of Abraham was the laws of Europe. They didn't like that. This is why they created the Holy War. Today still exists the Holy War. They don't like it. So when we're talking about the reason why it's keep spreading is because of the false teachings. So they don't tell many people about Kabbalah. That's for your priest. That's your priesthood. So that's how they came up with the Christ. So now, back to, is there a concept of sin, original sin in Islam? There is no concept of original sin in Islam. Why is that? Because of the one. How can one who is not sin bring anything into sin? See, you can do that when you play with the Trinity. You could say one was sinful, one was not sinful, but they of the equal nature. Now, Muslims do not believe in inherited sin. This is why you will find out that this is a religious concept called sin. And concepts do not exist without the Creator. The only concept there is the concept of the nature of the Creator. It reads, Muslims do not believe in inherited sin or that babies are born with the stain of sin. We're talking about Islam. Islam do not believe in inherited sin. But you have to understand, this is why you got a difference in name. Christians are not Muslims. Now you see why. Two different concepts. One saying you evil, which is Christianity, which is based on falsehood, which is Jewish. The other is Islam, pronounced I-Salam. See the word, the first letter is I. I am responsible for I. You was the Jewish name of Allah. YHWH was the name given to Allah by Musa. So when you saying this is where my Hebrew Israelites come in, the Hebrew Israelites are not Israelites. You are Hebrew, but you're not Israelite. Israelite is in Israel. And Israel are Jews. And all Jews are Christian. And all Christians are Jewish. You can't be Jewish. You're not from a Jewish seed. Abraham was not a Jew. Abraham was a Moorish, as they would say today's time. The Moorish. This is why you got the letter M. Moorish, you can say Muslim, but it's pronounced Musalam. See, these are names by your ancestors. Did you know that? This is what they wanted to wipe off the planet and have you think the Middle Eastern people are Muslims. No, those are Christians cloaking themselves as you so they can steal your birthrights. Remember, the whole Bible got birthright theft in it. So this is what it's about. Christ is stealing the birthrights of the ancient people of the land. sin is seen as a contravention. Sin is a contradiction in Islam. So many tribes was under Islam by many names. Islam holds many nations. It can be American Indians, it could be Hebrew Americans, it could be Moorish Americans, it could be tribes of your family name. Islam holds it all because Islam derived from America. The first place Islam was in America. And when they say they took something from here and took it over there, that was called Islam. By the time you get Islam in Kemet, it's called Ma'at. So the name Islam and Ma'at is the same name. Ma'at is the word we get today where people say Muhammad. I bet people didn't know that.
Oh, you dropping a bomb on.
See, and this is why they had the whole confusion. See what Ma'at means? Ma'at means comprise the ancient Egyptian concepts of truth, balance, order, harmony, law, morality, and justice. This is what Ma'at taught, or Muhammad taught. So these are the understandings that we didn't have, because these, when they went over there, this is what they corrupted. They corrupted Islam and turned it into Babylon. So Islam and Ma'at go together because these are the same family of Abraham. So these are the people that you would call Hebrews. So we got a deep understanding. This is why you see Ma'at with the feather. That's American. But we don't know American. Before America was called America, it was called Asia.
That's what they don't know.
So this is why you have the Asiatics taking the knowledge across the waters. This is what everything comes into. So the word Muhammad comes from the word Ma'at. And the word Ma'at in the Sufian is Mu'id. These two are the same words. Remember, the 7th century is when Islam was ruling Europe. Hold on, did we know that? Trying to get Islam expanded at the top of the paragraph. Islam expanded into the Caucasus. There go the Caucasus, Europe, through the Muslim conquest of the Persia. That's not right. Persia is not right. The hijack. Persia is Jewish. But these are the people Jewish started hijacking our 7th century history, stealing and claiming their own. Now, this happened in the 7th century. This is before 1492. And in Europe, after the Umayyad conquest of Hispania. And see, they moved that to the 18th to the 10th century. So this is how you come to the 1492. The 1492 is those people who are leaving Spain, Portugal, Sicily, known as Italy today, which is known as Europe today, which is back in the past known as Rome. So Rome hate Islam. This is why you would never get Islam from Rome. So when we talking about, when they say when in Rome, do as Rome, this is what they're talking about. You losing your customs of the 7th century. Now we have the only text that is unadulterated from the 7th century. That's why the knowledge is so clear. So as you see that now, Islam ruled Europe. So the people that call themselves Americans, these are the people that know of the illustrious history of Islam in Europe. Now they don't know the history of it because they not birthed from it. They invaded, created a holy war, while Islam in all of humanity. So this is what we have to understand and learn. This is why you don't know nothing about Islam today. All you know is about is Christianity, because that's called the Great Conversion. See right here, conversion to Christianity by Constantine I. The Great Conversion refers to conversion to Christianity by Constantine, the Roman Emperor. So this is where you get the Christianity. Do we catch this? See, so under history, you was never told that in school, was you? In history class. You wasn't told in history class that original sin is under Christianity and not under all religions. That there is no original sin in Islam. So all these people that create opposite teachings of the truth, this is called a cult. A cult, how you know it's a cult is if they practice Christianity. Check this out now. As a primary test for a fact of a cult versus a religion, this is Christianity, which is a slavery-based religion, versus Islam, which is a non-slavery-based religion. Now, in order to get you into slavery, they needed a new model, remember? From the past, they needed a new model, not whips and chains. They needed something now mentally. So now it's called mental slavery. So now they needed a teaching that would teach it's okay to be mentally a slave. So here we go. Canon 3499. As a primary test of a fact of a cult versus a religion is the extremely high number of Cretans. This is what people didn't know. You're going to learn today. What is a Cretan, y'all?
Yeah.
Check this out. Y'all going to be blown away. What is a Cretan? A Cretan is a dwarfed or deformed idiot.
What you say?
Go to the blue highlight. The word is of uncertain origin. By many, it has been identified with the vulgar Latin Christianus, a Christian.
Good God Almighty. Christiana, Christian. Good.
The word Christian means Cretan, a generic term for anyone, but often with a sense poor fellow.
What a fellowship. God Almighty.
See, this is why we have to understand what a Christian is. A Christian is a Cretan. A Cretan is an idiot. They have a high level of ignorance. Now, number 3, a high prevalence of Cretinism or Christianity amongst followers as opposed to initiates. Now, this is where I'm giving you the both sides of the evil coin.
Oh boy, I ain't lying.
One side is Christianity. That's called the dumbfounded, the young and dumb, the idiots. They call them Cretans. But a more fancy word for Cretan is Christian, so you don't feel bad. Now, opposite of a Christian is what you call an initiate. An initiate is what belongs to Freemasonry.
Okay.
So when you go into Freemasonry, you got to become an initiate. So now they covering two sides of the evil coin. Republican, Democratic, red and blue, the two-headed eagle. All this is called Cretan and initiate, or we should say Christian and Mason. These are the people who have taken, hidden, stole all your knowledge, re-altered it, and made you a slave through belief. So the only people considered not a Cretan is a Freemason. Because Freemasonry teaches you about the Bible, Christianity. So now we're going to go into what does the canon got to say about sin. Let's change up voices. Would you read for us quick, Elder?
I sure will. Canon 4194. A sin is a fictional concept based on a moral belief in transgression of the divine law and offense against the divine creator.
Now, according to the canons, which is ecclesiastical, is sin real? Is sin real based on the definition? Or is it a fictional concept?
Fictional concept.
Do we know what fictional means? Fake. Made up.
Like people draw, just like people write script for movies.
Right.
And you wouldn't think they'll write script for Bibles as well, and they call them scriptures.
This is why the proof is on.
It is.
I got the evidence for us to see.
Right,
you can reject it, but if you reject it, you're going to follow false teachings like a donkey. Let's go to Canon 4195 and see what it got to say.
All right. Sin is a unique as a fictional concept within the fictional framework of morality. Unlike general offenses, the offense of sin is claimed to be inheritable, such as the former called original sin.
See, this is how they trap the soul.
Yeah.
They trapped it through a concept that is fictional called original sin. It's not the basis of Christianity. Did we not just point that out? The basis of Christianity or original sin is a Christian doctrine.
Yeah. You say by the framework of somebody, when you say about framework, that's somebody being a busy bee, doing some writing and translation now.
Do we see inheritable?
That's right.
That means it takes away your heritage.
That's right.
So now why you call black, Negro, colored, and African is because of this event happened. They want you to inherit the sacrifice of their sin.
Yeah.
And they want you to die for it.
Yeah.
You personally.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move to how this was created. Let's go to Canon 4196.
So that's why the crusade, where they went all over the world, spreading it and then into people's their way of life.
Okay. Original sin is claimed to have been created in the 5th century, but was formed as an essential commercial. That go colonists, that go capitalists. A capitalism commercial control of the Roman code. That's the Christian faith. That's the church and Freemasonry from the 16th century, including its associated concepts. Have y'all heard of these words? The phrase grace and salvation.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Well, this is
grace and salvation.
Original sin is essential to justify the concept of the need to save souls of the people through grace to the Roman code. So guess what they call grace? You calling yourself black, Negro, colored, African, anything that's not your ancestors' name. It can get worse if y'all want to see it that way. But we just want to get to the understanding. I'm going to read the most important of the next one. Original sin is therefore the most important concepts for control of the world. Who control the world, y'all? Under Christianity, the Pope.
Yep. That's right.
This is what he used to control the world. This is a financial instrument.
Yeah. And may I say this, if the Pope controlling the world and every president over here in the USA, what they call the United States of America, have to go over to where he's at to get approval. How about that? Why every president has to go to the Vatican? Question now, just to back up all that you have been off this morning. The proof is right there in the pudding.
Here go another. By granting the Roman Church, Christianity, Freemasonry, the Roman code, the right to salvation, and then after saved, then after making you African, after making you black, after making you colored, after making you a Negro, then monetize. Then monetize these debts. These debts There go your bank.
Your $1 trillion debt.
Your $1 trillion debt.
Mm-hmm.
Monetize these debts in the form of money. See what we're saying? This is why you say you need money today. They got you wrapped in this thing.
Yeah. They stole everything from you and gave you the thing.
That's why the bill is called a debt.
$1 trillion debt. All that is owed to us. All that money they owe life to us.
It's to you.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, that's why they say you owe it.
Yeah. They done flip the script.
They flip the script.
That's why you can never see the money, where they spent the money at.
This is why K.O.S is important. They don't
never come to explain to you about this $1 trillion debt.
They don't
never ever.
They don't teach knowledge of self. Why would they teach you? They teach their own. Why would they teach you? They teach their children. Why would they teach yours? They keep all the money. Why would they help yours?
They stay in power and stay in control.
So remember, the money ain't yours. You understand that what they took from you was yours, your gold and silver.
That was not
the money you have today is not the image of your ancestors is not on it.
That's right.
That Caesar family line. That's called Jewish. You see George Washington on the dollar, that's Jewish. Abraham Lincoln on the 5, that's Jewish.
Yeah, that's right.
Thomas Jefferson, on the 10, that's Jewish. Andrew Hamilton on the 20, that's Jewish. Thomas Jefferson on the 50.
I'm trying to think.
Whoever on the 50 is Jewish.
Yeah.
Who on the 100?
Benjamin.
Oh yeah, Benjamin Franklin. Jewish.
Bad Benjamin.
So all these are Jewish. These people come before the people who over you today, so they consider these people their forefathers. So they saying when you got money in your account, that's their property. Remember, it got God on the back. And it's in trust. What trust? Your land trust. What land trust? Your social security number. I can't say security number. You know that well. You got that in your memory.
Oh boy, you know that like you don't know.
That's your slave number.
Yep.
That's why you in debt. That's why you got to pay. That's why you got to do everything. Who you think those taxes go to? To your family? Or his? Because the city ain't improving. The country ain't improving. What's improving? The teachers ain't improving.
The only thing improving is his pocket. And his family.
So this is why we had something called the lower self to teach us about his nature. His nature is the nature of everything that harms. He's hatred. He breeds slander. He breeds stealing. He breeds murder. He breeds theft. He breeds everything that harms. Ask the air. Ask the water. Those ain't even us, but they people still. He harming the air people, harming the water people, harming in between air and water. That's just chemtrails, harming. Why you think you got to be subjected to it when Allah has given you a way to end suffering? It's called Al-Sufian. Al-Sufian in English. So when we talking about, do you want to be free? Do you want to enjoy liberty and happiness? Do you want to enjoy joy and pleasure? Number 4, the way is not to be made a burden. A burden is a sin. What we have would never put a sin on you. Nor is Islam the denial of joy and pleasure. The way is the honor of life and liberty. Y'all heard that before, that phraseology, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of what? Happiness. See, they stole that out of your Sufian. This is why we call Sufiana Americana. We got our divine constitution back. Thanks to Noble Drew Ali.
That's right.
The holy prophet of America. So the Sufian is the honor of life and liberty. And the Sufian is the teaching, is the respect and the happiness that we all looking for. You won't find you got to be a slave in here. You won't find get down to lay down. You won't find bend over, take an oath. You won't find come be blindfolded.
That's right.
And let me take you to all these forms of rituals. There's no ritual in Islam. When we talking about 5 times prayer that you usually, that's not Islam.
That's right.
Let me show you. Let me show you how these people been playing on your Islam. Number 40. If any saying which claims all law commands the times for prayer. Now, how many times they say it's times for prayer?
5 times a day.
Now, did Allah command that? The command of times for prayer and to pray is false.
Oh,
is false.
Islamic road is headed the wrong way.
Is false.
Whoa!
That's Romanism. Remember, Rome wants you to be bowing down, head to the ground.
I see why that keeps you active. That keeps you going all the time.
Right.
I see why now.
They busy now. They busy now. Worshiping ignorance.
Yeah. Worship.
Allah never commanded the times for prayer. Ain't no Fajr.
Yeah.
This is what they got people following, thinking they following. No, that's not Islam. Islam. Jewish. You see the Jewish bang. Not no.
And I wasn't right.
Maraba.
Yeah. Because during Ramadan, you talking about it's more than 5. It's about 105.
They go.
Boy, I mean, they go during
go
Ramadan fast, and they have you doing so many rock cards that it don't make no sense.
Right.
It don't make no sense.
Right.
And I
the word raka exists in the Sufian. The word salat don't even exist in the Sufian. So what people been doing?
Lying.
This is why the Sufian tells you this. To spend time in learning is better than spending more time praying.
That makes sense. Now, which one makes sense?
I'm the person that spend more time learning.
Yeah.
Those the people that spend more time praying. Who got the truth?
And look at their, all right, check this out. Look at their condition too. the ones that doing all this premise.
Right.
They're being made a fool out of.
They sin. They doing it because of sin. The condition is sin.
Mm-hmm.
Sin is an emotional state of pain and suffering.
Mm-hmm.
They need your mind to take on the belief of pain and suffering is ordained by Allah. This is why they say ordained by God, because their God ordains it.
Yeah.
Their God is not our God. Their God is for them. Ours for us. We got laws. We don't got their laws. We got our laws. So this is what the highest truth they didn't want you to know. They want you to get caught up in something called emotions. Remember in the Bible, Satan came to God. Remember, these two are the same. In the Bible, in their narrative, God and Satan is one and the same. In the Bible narrative, Satan tells God he's been going to and fro. That's called moving. When you're moving, that's called motion. What we didn't know was motion is equivalent to emotions. And what's equivalent to emotions are spirits. So when we talk about spirits, plural, those are emotions that change the character of the individual. All emotions will pass away. Even pain passes away to healing, if you understand. Even sickness comes back to health. So we're talking about motion to and from, healthy to being sick. Health is an emotion. Sickness is an emotion. Stupidity is an emotion. Ignorance is an emotion. Jealousy is an emotion. Envy is an emotion. Hate is an emotion. See, and this is what all was called. So when Satan tempted Jesus, this was tempting him emotionally. To move him out of his current state, to move him into another state opposite of his higher state. So you got two halves. You got the higher half and the lower half. Your emotions live in the lower half. Everything that's negativity, it lives in the lower. Positivity lives in the higher. So in life, you're going to have experience. The word experience is the spirit. Experience. So you're going to, this is what's called going through the temptations of the wilderness. Emotions is going to come in our life. This is something we can't stop. We took on a flesh form. It wasn't made to dictate your life. These are the lower portions. This is what we have to understand. Emotions, as we read in the last understanding, in our last study meeting, all motion is governed by the laws of the universe. Motion is emotion. So all emotions are governed by the laws of the universe. All emotions are spiritual. These are spirits. This is what we call, in our non-Christian tongue, this is where you get the word alien from, or Al-Jinn. See, Al-Jinn, the spirits with an S. That drops down to this, the collective spirits. Those collective spirits become one called the spirit. And that's emotion right there. See, and we see number 4, the voice of self-doubt. That's an emotion. The voice of unreason. That's an emotion. The voice of self-hate. That's an emotion. The voice of violence. That's an emotion. The voice of intolerance. That is an emotion. The one who keeps us in a state of depression. Depression is an emotion. Is deliberately. There you go. Depression means an angular distance of a star below the horizon. So keeping your mind in the lower half. That's right. Like it's nighttime. That's right. Instead of above the horizon like the sun. Positive love, warmth, and heat. So to depress us, they call this to press down. So to lower you from your higher to your lower, they need a certain method called depression. And this comes from the jinn. So that's why they say gin and juice. So this is what's foreign to you, is negative emotions. See, this is what they need us, for us to die in a state of negative emotions. That way they trap the spirit, the soul, in the flesh. Yes. Remember, your spirit was created by your soul. This is why your spirit is immortal. Your spirit is inside of the flesh. Yeah. So you are directing the flesh as spirit, not as emotion. But we're saying as soul once you get all your knowledge back. The highest goal is to become a soul. You want to develop your mind till your mind becomes a living soul. Living soul means walking. Walking in the spirit means walking in the way of Allah. This is what is called As-Salam. So the self you've been talked about that's bad as the ego, as we see, the self, Sufa 45 and 6, is the awareness of the I to its own existence. This is what the soul is. An awareness of the I. Your I, when you say I, that's the soul, that's the self. I wants to be focused, aware of its own existence. Not someone coming to save you. You come to save yourself. You come to redeem yourself. It's called the day of redemption. They call it over here in the West your birthday. Allah called it the day of redemption. The day that you came to redeem yourself. So when we need to understand what is self, self is the awareness of the I to its own existence. So when it's saying you need to know what's bad for your soul and you need to know what's good for your soul, this is what it's talking about. You have the lower half, which is all the emotions. It has no I. All it has is action and movement. Then you have your higher half. This is where your I is. Your I can control, meaning to balance the lower half. The goal is to make your lower half and your higher half one. This is called all are, all soul. So it wasn't in ancient times of our ancestors that you know Christ. To our ancestors of ancient times, it was he who knows his own self knows the divine creator. And we're going to get ready to get up out of here. So we want to have a reminder. False teachings have all of us riding on the donkey right now. Until you come up off the donkey and receive the honor that was already bestowed to you. You don't have to do anything in this world. It's already bestowed upon you. All you need to do is learn about your own existence. And so to get the fullness of life, you have all within you. So you have all within you, then you have all law. So the higher half is all law, and the lower half is all. So as Noble Drew Ali taught, Allah is all. So, and this is the unity of life, the naught and the alt, the falsehood and the truth. Man is the breath made flesh. As-salam, as-salam, wadu. We close in the name of the divine creator, Allah, Sufian.